what do you think about Paul George being suspended? If y'all do not know, Paul George was suspended for 25 games for taking some sort of substance. They have not released what the substance was exactly. I think it was that game. I forgot who he was playing, who they were playing. But I think when he hit like the 9 threes, it was like, hold
Oh yeah.
on. Like you haven't looked this good in a hot minute. So come on back
Right.
and give us that sample and let's see what's going on. And obviously, he got suspended. So whatever he's doing was doing. It resulted in him losing, I believe, $11.7 million in totality with 25 game suspension. But he said, he had been dealing with some mental health. Um, I guess recently, past few years. I'm not exactly sure how long. What did you think though about it? Do you believe
So
that he's dealing with mental health?
it's commonplace in the league where if you have a really good game, I'm talking about an outstanding game, off the charts type of game, in any
Mm-hmm.
league, that you're gonna get drug tested the next
Mm-hmm.
day. That's just commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I I wasn't necessarily a big fan or a big supporter of Paul George. He's not my cup of tea.
Okay.
But
As a player
I
or a person?
all of it, all of it. The player.
Okay.
I mean, most of the player, because I don't know him in person. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's a
Mm-hmm.
great guy. He probably is
Mm-hmm.
a stand up guy. Just as far as a player goes, he really ain't that guy like that. But he always wanted to be that guy. He always wanted to be up there with the Kobe's and the LeBrons. But no, you're a notch below those guys. You're
Mm-hmm.
not those guys. You're not a KD. You're not in that class, bro. You're a notch below that. Um, but he had all the confidence in the world. I lost so much respect for Paul George. I lost respect twice. I lost respect
Mm-hmm.
because you got caught using PEDs. I understand you've been hurt the last couple of years and you want to be out there on the court. And so you use some PEDs so that you can go out there and be accountable for with your team. You want to contribute, but you got caught. And then I lost a whole lot of respect when he started talking about he has mental health issues and this is why you're on PEDs. Bruh, come on, bro. Don't use mental health as an excuse for why you're on PEDs. Because there's a lot of people out there who really suffering with mental health issues, and it's a lot of people, and I have a problem with this. There's a lot of people who using mental health as an excuse for why they're doing crazy things, from murdering people, raping people, beating people up, now taking PEDs. I don't think mental health should be used as an excuse, especially if you haven't been pre-diagnosed as
Mm-hmm.
having mental health issues. All
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, you get caught doing some foul, and then you saying, "Well, I got mental health issues." I just don't respect that, and I don't got no respect for Paul George, none whatsoever. I don't care if he ever plays, dribbles the ball another minute in the NBA. I don't want to see him no more.
Okay. I'm on the opposite side of it. Mental health is real. That's the first thing. And I don't know what he's been dealing with. You know, maybe he has been dealing with some mental health and didn't tell anybody about it. Like you don't. Some people are open with it. Like DeMar DeRozan has been open about some struggles that he's
Right.
had in the past and things, especially when his dad got
Paul
sick.
George has too. He's been
You
open
know.
with it
Oh,
in
oh,
the
okay. So then,
past.
so this is on record then. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay.
He's been
So
open with it in
okay,
the past, but that don't give you
okay.
no excuse for using.
Well, no, I
You've
mean,
had these issues for a long time, and this is the first time that you got caught using performance enhancing drugs.
I also
Don't
will
blame it on
say,
mental health.
well, I mean, for him, I don't like I said, if he spoke about to the past, I don't know if it got. It's possible it could have gotten bad recently with him being injured and different things like that. Whatever he was dealing with in the past, it could have
Right.
came back to the surface. It could have um it could have he could have been fine for a while, because mental health, anxiety, different things, they come in these waves, sometimes, and it's hard to control it, from my own personal experience, with anxiety. But I will say I feel like sometimes this is why I think sometimes black men don't want to come out and talk about certain things, because the minute you do, it's kind of like you get a little bit ridiculed. Now, I know it seems like it's an excuse, like, dude, come on now. Like, you got caught, taking steroids or whatever it is. Allegedly, I don't know what he was taking or took. But there is a lot of pressure, I think, that we don't talk about sometimes as it pertains to Black men, even the ones who in the NBA and NFL. You're trying to hold on to your career. Respectfully, it has not
Right.
gone well the past few seasons. Like you've been injured. You got all this money coming from LA. When you're trying to, you're not ready to hang up your hat just yet. But it seems like your body's like it might be time for you to hang up your hat. Put the jersey out the way, dog. You know what I mean? Um, there is there's pressure with that, when you're
Right.
trying to still be the caliber of player that the fans are like hacking you about there in your comments, like podcast P, no lazy P, people all kind of different nicknames. They see it in the comments, and then you have, you got a wife, you got kids, you got a lifestyle, you take care of your parents. I think his parents are sick. I remember people saying last season he had parents, I think, back in LA. One of the reasons why he didn't necessarily want to go. Up to Philly because he has parents who are sick. So I don't know if he's paying a medical expense and things of that nature. And something else to also consider if he is. But it is pressure. When there's so many expectations, and you'd like to think that being an adult, because I think he's in his 30s now, or close enough, mid 30s somewhere in there. You like to think that you're grown. You know what I mean? Like put your big boy pants on and just deal with it and chuck it up and and do your job. But everybody's not built like that. Some people, like they have the moments of weakness, and the pressure is real. When you feel like you're failing or not being your best, or you can't play your best, you're really trying, but your body's like, it's not happening, to pop them steroids, if it's what he's taking or whatever he's taking, to still be able to perform at a high level.
Right.
So I'm going to give him some grace with this. It may not be a popular opinion. I'm going to give him some grace with it.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm just more about accountability and honesty. If you get caught with something, just say, "Hey, man, I was hurt. I was trying to stay active, man, and I took something that I shouldn't have took. My bad, but I did it. I'm like, okay, that's real. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that. But to get caught and blame it on having mental health issues, I just think that's low. Like that's very low. He does
Assuming
have.
that is, but if it's true, but is it still low?
Yes, it's low because you're blaming your mental health issues on you
Mm-hmm.
taking performance enhancing drug. Those two
Mm-hmm.
things don't mix with me. Like you having mental health issues and you taking PEDs they're not they don't go together.
Well, again, I'm gonna say
Clay
here,
Thompson
my
has mental
channel.
health
I don't know
issues.
what they
Kevin
claim.
Love
What he's
has
taking
mental
because
health
they haven't said
issues.
it.
I haven't seen Clay Thompson fail one drug test yet. I haven't seen Kevin Love fail one drug test yet.
But
As
I'm
of
saying, like, we're
DeMar
comparing people.
DeRozan
That's
haven't
what we were
failed
saying.
one drug test
Everybody
yet.
does things differently. Like how
Right,
DeMar DeRozan deals with whatever setbacks he may have in his life are not going to be the same as how Steph might deal with it.
right.
LeBron, KD, whoever. You know what I mean? Like we don't know Paul George and what he's going through off the court that made him feel like he had to take whatever he was taking, to deal with it.
Right.
You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
happens. People who cheat, they do it because they're under some sort of pressure to perform at a certain level. So they decide to cheat. And I'm pretty sure they're all dealing with some sort of pressure. And but you at the end of the day, you have a choice to make. Do I take this pill or do I not take this pill? Just like he left his family in LA to go to make more money in Philly. You could have took less money and stayed at home with your family if you needed to take care of your mother. You decided I'm gonna go to Philly and get this bag. Okay, that's a choice that you made as a man. So, like you make these choices. I got mental health issues. I play in the NBA. I know if I take this pill, I'm gonna get if I get caught, I'm gonna be suspended. Let me deal with my mental health another way. I got doctors around me. I got the capital to get the best therapists, to get the best doctors around me who
But like
understand that
you and
this
I
is
both
the
know, like
success list.
a lot of times black men don't feel comfortable talking to therapists. You know what I mean? Like they feel like, from what I've heard different people say, I don't know about, Paul George specifically, just,
Right.
they feel like I'm nah, I'm like, I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to be able to deal with it and be tough, like we don't go to no therapist, I don't know how he was raised, but some people are
Right.
like, my mom was like, my dad was like, you don't cry, we don't cry, suck it up,
Right.
deal with it,
Right.
like that's that. If he comes from that kind of background where, talking about your feelings is not something that you typically do show vulnerability, then I can understand why. And that's not just speaking about him. I'm just talking about how you're raised in general. If you grew up like that with a father or a mom who was hard, and it was, made for you to be the man of the house, be a man, like toughen up, like we don't cry, suck that shit up. You know what I mean? How sometimes men are really rough, with their sons. That could be why he's like, I'm not gonna, or he don't feel comfortable going to someone like a therapist, although he has the means and the money to do it.
Yes, and you're around a lot of athletes, and a lot of athletes have sports psychologists, black, white, or indifferent. Like it's just it's a part of the profession. It's like, and then we're in 2026. This is not 1980 and 1990 anymore. We're in 2026. It's more openly accepted to seek therapy now. The black people have finally got to a point where it's okay. We realize we were tricked all those years. It's okay to go seek therapy. We do have mental health issues that we need to go talk to somebody about. And that's fine. Nobody's going to ridicule you because you went and saw
you feel
a
like
therapist.
That, though? We know that people nowadays being more open about, like when Caleb, for example, when he jumped in the crowd with his mom, because he was like, that was the moment, he was emotional. He wanted his mom, he wanted the comfort for his mom. Everybody was kind of making fun of him. It's like, dude, you cry, but don't do it on camera, wait till you go back, So it's like on one hand, we're like, like it's okay, go speak to somebody, go do this. But then when you see someone like Caleb, who wants the comfort of his mother, that is his mommy,
right?
It's like, dude, like don't do that. They kind of making fun of him. That combined with the nails and everything else, it's one thing for us on the outside to say, well, dude, you got the resources to go here, to go there. They got all kind of people around you, but if he was raised in a way, even if he wasn't, where something about him doesn't feel comfortable enough to go and share and be open in that way, it's hard.
I feel that. Like, I when it comes to his mental health issues, I don't knock it. It's nothing new. He's been having mental health issues. I have no problem with, if you want to go seek help or you don't want to go seek help. That's all up to you. My only thing is, don't cheat. Don't take these drugs and then come back and tell us you took these drugs because you got mental health issues. You've been having mental health issues. You've been dealing with them some kind of way. Now all of a sudden you won't take these drugs, and then instead of saying, where I wanted to be there for my team. I've been dealing with injuries. I took this drug hoping I wouldn't get caught, and I got caught. That's my bad. No, say that. Don't come out and say, well, I got mental health issues, so this is why I killed my whole family. Like, no, I don't do that to me.
Whoa, that's a whole other situation. Now, if we're talking about somebody that does that, like people, when they be hearing them voices, that stuff is real, y'all, all right?
Yeah.
Who are schizophrenic and they hear these kind of voices tell them to do this, do that. That stuff is real. But just talking about podcast P, not, psychopath P. Not making light of anybody's situation, y'all, respectfully. We don't know. I mean, I don't know what his mental health issue was back then, if it ever went away, or if it's something that's happened recently, or perhaps going through all the injuries and having the setbacks that he's had has caused it to heighten in a way, to get worse. That is a possibility. Like I said, I don't know exactly what his mental health issue is. But it's possible. I feel like we're just kind of writing it off because he hasn't mentioned it as of late. It's like, well, you haven't said that before. You've said that before. It's like, does he have to say it? Hey, I'm Paul George, and I take Xanax or whatever, twice a day. Like he does he have to make that announcement? No. And he could have been, I don't know, last time he was drug tested. He could have been doing this for a while and just finally got caught. You know what I mean? But
they have a list. They have a list of banned substances that you just not put in your body. And it's you responsible for whatever you put in your body. I don't care who you are. If you go to the club and a young man offer you a drink and you don't, you just get the drink, you drink it. You responsible for that drink. Now he might have put something in the drink. You got to be responsible for whatever you put in your body, whatever food, whatever drink, whatever medicine. You are responsible because this is your temple, and you have to guard it with the highest of respect that it can be guarded at. And so he know what he put in his body. And
He definitely knows. I mean, we don't know,
that it was on the banned substance list.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take accountability for that. I just don't want you to blame mental health for it. I just want you to say I messed up. That's my bad, you know. But to I hate that he has a mental health issue. He deals with depression and those type things. You know, I want him to get better. I'm glad he's open. Right. I'm glad that he's open about it. And I hope that he can continue to get all the help that he needs to deal with his mental health issues. But this ain't the way, bro. This will have you kicked out the league. And that's what he headed. It's possible that Paul George never plays basketball ever again.
I think he'll be back. I don't think he's gonna leave like this.